Hey guys, what's up? It's Lizzy Jane, and we're back with another podcast episode this week. I have AJ, curator and co-founder of LifeTap Media, joining me. We discuss so much of his personal career, moving to Denver, creating LifeTap Media, getting involved in the electronic dance music scene, and what LifeTap Media is up to next. They have so many dope endeavors that they are working on, and it's really awesome to be able to understand the perspective of other industry professionals who work in music entertainment and what they go through and their trials and tribulations and their own journeys, because it's so similar to ours as DJs and artists. And I don't think a lot of us often understand that. So I hope you guys really can gain some insight from this conversation. AJ is so dope. LifeTap Media is awesome. They've captured content and media of some of your favorite acts, performances, everything from Red Rocks to festivals and so much more. So let's tap in. This is Lizzy Jane, and you are tuning into my podcast with special guest AJ from LifeTap Media. Hey guys, so lately I've seen a ton of larger shows I've been playing at that a lot of these festivals and venues are no longer allowing bags that are not clear. Well, guess what? Lunchbox Packs is coming in clutch again. They have just stepped up their anti-theft bags by releasing a fully clear hydration pack and snack pack. This is an absolute game changer for your summer festivals and events. Each bag is made out of TPU material that is incredibly durable, flexible, and made to not alter under extreme sun exposure over time. You also have the option to bring a skin in your bag on the way in, and once you're through that security line, you can zip on your skin for privacy of your belongings and to add some extra personalized fun flair. These hydration packs meet the majority of all festival regulations and guidelines. As always, these packs have all of the awesome anti-theft features as the original hydration and snack packs. Make sure you use code LizzyJane for $10 off any hydration pack and code LizzyJ for $5 off any snack pack. I will see you at the rave. The show today was brought to you by Vitaplur E-Boost Gum. With no pill to take or powders to mix, Vitaplur E-Boost Gum is a first-of-its-kind energy rave supplement that provides magnesium, electrolytes, and antioxidants while you chew. Vitaplur is the perfect complement to my active lifestyle, whether it's at the festival, on the road touring, or hitting the gym. Chew Vitaplur and dance with confidence. Use code LizzyJane for 10% off any order.
AJ, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you represent LifeTap Media, curator, co-founder, all of that fun stuff. I'm excited to see what's going on with the company and what's next. We were just kind of talking about some gear-orientated stuff before we hopped into the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You guys shot EPROM's robotic synthesizer show. That was incredible. I went alone to that. I stood in the very top right. I remember seeing you. Wasn't that just so sick?
It was ridiculous. I mean, it's interesting because it's not like a normal like dancey show.
Mm-mm.
Like it's like you're just like taking it in. You're like, what is happening right now?
You have to be invested.
Yes. Yeah. It was, and it was honestly like putting together we shot that, but we're working with River Beats. River Beats is who. River Beats TV. They have their new app. It's awesome.
I have a call with them next week because I know they're getting into some new endeavors that we're gonna try and co-partner on some stuff to bring in the podcast.
Sweet. Awesome.
Sean seems great. I don't know
Sean's
him too
amazing.
much, but
Ben's amazing. I've known Ben for basically he's one of the first guys that I met when I moved here like 5 years ago.
Are they based here?
And yeah. Well, Benny's here. They started in New Orleans, and that's where River Beats started. And then Benny moved up here. Sean's still in New Orleans, but they're doing big things, and we're kind of partnering with them on a lot of this stuff because they've done really well in a bunch of other business stuff too. That was able to get them to this point to where they can kind of do exactly what they want to do with the app, which is going to be like a lifestyle app, and then also with like full cinematic coverage of like shows.
Well, that's what they did for the big gigantic the rooftop series that they had at Denver X.
Yeah.
And because I had never
The deep.
I had always seen shows there, but I had never gone. And then Big G's on the same roster as me.
Right.
And I was like, this is fucking dope. Like, let's go check it out.
It's really fun.
And when I got there, Sean was there and he checked everybody in and he's like, yeah, we do like full drone coverage recordings of this.
Everything. Yeah. Yeah.
Wild.
It's super fun. Yeah. And we got a lot more planning to do because that's what like Huck, my partner Huck, Matt, Huckfilm on IG, he's a beast at editing and directing.
Yeah.
And he just knows what to do.
I feel like everyone knows that name too.
Yeah. Yeah. Huck is just honestly, he's just an animal. Like when I met him, like I hit him up when I can't remember, what was it, 4 years ago or something, because I was shooting serves and I needed a second, and I had already followed him, and I was like, he lived in Fort Collins at the time, so that's where he went to school, and he stayed up there, and brought him down, and we just connected immediately. I'm like, yeah, this kid is, if I knew what I wanted to do when I was like 16 years old and just went for it, like that's what he did. Like he figured out what he wanted, his passion, he followed it, and he's never had a corporate job, never done anything. Like he is just, that's what he's done. He's just figured it out.
Yeah.
He's an animal. Yeah. I'm
I
super
feel like
lucky
that's
to
what it takes
work with him.
to do this sometimes.
Oh, 100%.
You just have to go for it.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting now because there's like a few things that come up in my mind just that are very like media orientated. From everyone's having to adapt to this new age of how to exist and also make enough money that you can keep investing into your company, potentially live comfortably.
Right.
And, you know, from our end as like an artist, we just announced Countdown, and so many of these like blogs now, you know, are offering like these promotional packages, like whether it's like, hey, like we'll put you on like top 10 artists to see at Countdown, and then we'll do like a promo package for you, and we'll do this. And then what you said with River Beats is like, you know, really bringing this new thing into the space where they're doing these full cinematic productions, and now they're going to be doing more kind of like private DJ set kind of deals where they're bringing in someone and then it's posted everywhere, and it's like this professional, almost like you kind of have like a ticket to watch the fight kind of thing, and you get this exclusive set. And it really just forces you to be so innovative, because just as up and coming acts make little to nothing touring, you know, you are friends and you've been on the road with so many growing acts, you know, you see what they take these shows for. And it's so different working for like a Slander or somebody playing second on the Liquid Stranger tour. You just, you know, that's what they're really walking away with little to nothing to keep that growth going. And you see it on the media side too. Yeah,
big time. I mean, that's something, it's interesting because we had a long discussion the other day with some of our homies that work in the industry that are do creative direction and photography and stuff like that. And it's like, it is interesting because, I mean, and I get it, because that media, a lot of times, like media is the last thing you're thinking about because the budget goes towards like production, travel, all the things that you need to take care of. I get it. I understand, but when you really think about it, it's like, what is the thing that is bringing people to this? Like, obviously, it's the music and everything, but for as far as marketing purposes go, it's media. And there are, I mean, obviously, Denver is like the spot. I mean, there's so many talented freaking people here; it's insane. And it's, I mean, it's a good thing. Everybody's
raise
amazing.
Your game up.
Yeah, I mean, Denver is the Mecca. I get it. But it's just tough because you really, I mean, there's a reason why we don't like just do that, because you can't it's impossible to survive on that. Like, I mean, I got into this just because like I liked taking photos, and when I moved here, I didn't even really know electronic music at all. Like, no, not at all. I like kind of did. Like, I was the guy that, like, I did sales. Like, I was a regional manager for a pump company in a air compressor manufacturer. Like I did sales, like outside sales. And I'd be the guy sitting at my computer, like watching Zed at Ultra, being like, "Oh my gosh, this is insane!" Like, never thinking that I'd ever be able to work in it or anything like that. But then 2018, that had that huge hailstorm here, and my buddy Chase owns this roofing company, Johnson Construction, which and they had this awesome product that's like hail proof. Basically, it's like a rubber roof. But I moved out to start selling roofing, and I went to Red Rocks the second week I was here. I was like, I've never seen an electronic music show at Red Rocks. I got to go. Went by myself, and I was like, holy shit, this is nuts. Which, hilariously enough, that's where that's where I met my wife. Now we went, we both. Oh my God. Yeah, it's funny.
That's so
we
cool.
both went by ourselves, and she was in the front row, and I was like, oof. I thought she was with the guy next to her, but spot opened up. I'm like, I'm gonna get front row at Red Rocks. This is gonna be so cool. And took a picture, and then it was DJ Snake and Porter and Heckler, Gigi McGree, and Porter was playing a virtual self set. And I knew Porter was really the only guy. I'm like, I heard of DJ Snake, but I knew Porter. And there was this crazy drop, and Trina and I looked at each other. On that drop, we looked at each other. Like, what the fuck? Like, and rest is
my
history.
God, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
It's kind of how like you're like, okay, this is right. This is right. This is right. When did you make the crossover? I guess before even like LifeTap Media was a thing, because I think a lot of people aspire to do what you're doing, but it's like you kind of have a lot of different alleyways to get there.
Right.
And you guys deal with this just as artists do, where there's a lot of people who get into this and they're like, I'm just going to work for free. I'm going to work for free until I build up my value, and then I'm going to start charging because I'm experienced and I know what I'm worth. Like, what did your journey look like?
I mean, basically, there's actually a moment, and I think I have it on video because I was taking a video. I remember because once we connected, we started dating immediately, and it was just
oh my God,
instant.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's cute. We got married there too, just us and our homie John Devine. It was awesome.
God.
But there's a moment where, because we got obsessed, like the day after, she texted me and she's like, hey, so I have these tickets to the Alice in Wonderland at Ogden. Like, do you want to go? And actually, she didn't have tickets. She was just like trying to hang out. But so we went to that, and then saw Excision, and then we're like, holy shit, that was wild. And then we saw Excision. That was the first like headbanging type of thing that I saw. And I was like, what the hell is this? Like, but we were at 7. So going to a ton of, we got in, became like EDM heads. And then like, it's so funny. So then we went to 7 Lions, and I'm sitting there taking a video, and I'm looking at the guy on stage filming. And I zoom in on him. I go, T, that guy's that's I want to be that guy. That guy just gets to sit there and take video and enjoy every freaking concert. Like, and she's like, well, just do it. And you can literally hear me in the video go, no, this is Red Rocks. Like, it takes like probably 10 years to be able to do stuff like that. And we actually, from that, right after that, we went to Mexico. And my friends were doing astrophotography, and I'd always loved photography, but I'd never like bought a camera or anything. And when I was so jealous of that they got to do it. When I got back, I was like, screw this. Like, I just went, bought a camera, bought everything, and then just started like sneaking my camera into shows. Like, honestly, like,
as most do.
Sorry, Serbs, Ogden, all of them. Like, I snuck it into pretty much everywhere just to try and like create, just to learn and try and just because I just like capturing moments. Like, it's just like my favorite thing. But yeah, I mean, that's really all it was. I mean, the first show that I ever got paid for was Trifecta at Bluebird.
Oh
yeah.
Okay.
He's
love
best.
Sam.
Dude, he's the best.
Love Sam. He's great.
Yeah, he's an awesome
and that was, I mean, Allison at Ogden, that was a past lifetime to see Allison in an Ogden capacity.
Yeah, sorry, Excision at
Sam.
Ogden. Excision, I didn't even know. Like, I had no idea who Excision was.
Yeah.
Like, but we just got so addicted so quickly that like we're like, okay, no, we need to go to another one. Wait, there's one there's one in Ogden pre-party. It was like, I'm assuming, if I remember, I think it was the pre-party for like
his actual big shows. Yeah. And now he does his pre-parties like at Mission.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Huge growth and level up. And I mean, even Sam, like when you see all these guys in their first marketplace, you know, now Sam's playing Ogden and it's
I'm happy for him.
Such like it takes a long time, no matter what side you're on. But I know, like, in media, I've definitely seen, like, your kind of repertoire of clients. They can definitely jump if you're doing something stylistically great or, like, you're willing to meet in the middle or compromise. Because you've done a ton of full tours, right?
No, I've only been on tour once. I've only done one tour. That was this year. Because I did Subdoctor Tour this year. I TM'd and I did media forum, and
that's something a lot of people look for.
Yeah, and it's a lot. Well, I just like I take care of my people. Like, I want to take care of my friend. Like, the whole reason that I do this is because I want to help my friends, like, basically accomplish their dreams. Because, like, the fact that I'm getting paid money to do what I do doesn't even make sense to me still. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, that Subdoctor Tour was actually when I quit doing, I was still doing, working for my buddy I wasn't doing roofing anymore because they bought an insulation company. I was selling injection foam. Okay. But once that tour happened, I was like, well, it's like full sound. I'm not going to be here I can't do both anymore. And it's amazing when you actually just like, I thought I could do both before because it was working. Like, I mean, worked with like most of the artists that I've ever want to work with. But once you like are able to fully commit to something and you're forced to make money by only doing that, my brain was like, oh, okay, here we go. Just exploded with ideas and different, just creativity. Like, I love it. Just trying to be creative every single day.
Absolutely. And I definitely get that. I've been back and forth between doing like music full time and then having kind of like a part-time job. It's very interesting. And I wonder like how your mind works, because as like an audio engineer, you can do like so many different things. It's like, not only can you work for another company or do Foley sound or do mixing, mastering or teach lessons or da-da-da-da. And I feel like I still do a lot of that now. But when I have a part-time job now that's not music associated, but more like graphic design associated, which again, from like doing stuff for my own project, I understand all of Adobe, Canva, all of that shit. So it's like, you're still really using your skill set, but it's not necessarily me in Pro Tools or me in Ableton or me in whatever. It would like burn me out to do a lot of work that wasn't necessarily associated to Lizzy Jane. Right. So then when I like got in the DAW or I was doing something like electronic music orientated, I would kind of feel like I'd been doing it all day. And I was like, oh, well, I've been doing all this stuff for other people. And now it's time to do stuff for you. And you don't really feel that like creative juice. But then it's also, you know, now in the flip side of it, when you have a part-time job and you're doing it, it's kind of like that little inchling of time that in the back of your mind, you go, oh, I wish I was using this time on what I love doing.
And that's kind of where, because I mean, like we said before, just being a photographer, videographer, whatever, which luckily, I mean, finding how, like, I'm a pretty good photographer. Like I'm good at capturing the moment, finding the angles and stuff like that, but I'm not even close. Like, technically, I'm not even close to 99% of the guys that we work with. Like, Huck is an animal. I mean, Cheng, C2H2. I mean,
he does all of my creative shit because he gets it.
He's one of the most technical. He's a animal. Like, but like you were saying before, like style wise, like I love capturing big moments. So that's why video really resonated with me. And like, I also like to dance, and I'm basically just mirroring somebody to the beat while and trying to capture that moment as best I can to actually catch the vibe and the energy of what's going on. but again, like I said before, there's only so much you can, only so many shows. Obviously, Denver is the mecca, so there's shows every single day. But I'm also friggin' old. I'm about to be 38, and I can't. Nightlife is hard.
Yeah,
it's a lot, and that's why we've been doing so many other things like creative direction, brand building, producing shows, website design, merch. I just want to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just want to grow, because this really, like, electronic music in general, it's a movement. Like it really is. It's like we're looking at the 60s or 70s again, like with everything, and kind of almost changing consciousness of America and the world, really. Forbes just put a list out that EDM culture is the number 3 culture in the world right now. Like, what?
Wild.
That's wild.
Wild.
That's where, but it's, you see it. There's a reason all these festivals are popping up and all these shows are happening. It's because the market's there. These tickets are there. People will buy them because it is, like, when it comes down to it, like, it's about love, and it's about music, and it's about I never see a fight. Mm-mm. Like I've worked in other music shows, and it's just different.
It's different.
It's just so different.
It is.
It's just better, honestly.
And Denver's, like, very blessed. I will say, like, as far as coming from somewhere that, like Tampa, coming from somewhere that had the Ritz, and that was basically it. And now you have TK. Now you have kind of like more of an independent venue, but it's still, you get a lot of, it's just a mixed bag of individuals. Mm-hmm. And out here, I feel like everybody is very culture educated. They're very kind and compassionate. Right. And for every 8 out of 10 people, they're there for the music. Yeah. They know the artist.
Well, it's also Florida.
Yeah, and it's also Florida. No, and I totally get that. But at these shows, I noticed a different right off the bat. Yeah. The way that people dress, the way that people spoke to one another.
How they interact.
The way that they interact.
Respect.
The fact that you can go to any show and you have a handful of your favorite artists ever in the crowd, chilling, hanging out. I remember the first show I went to was G. Jones. Yeah. And I looked to the left of me and it was like Space Wizard and Tati. And then I looked to the right and it was 100 Drums. And then Closey was on the other side of the venue, and it's just kind of like, that doesn't happen everywhere. No. It just doesn't.
No, it only happens here. It's kind of like what's going on in Austin right now with comedy. Same thing. Like, it's just
the comedy shop, Joe's new shop.
It's
a movement.
It's a movement.
It's a movement. There's a reason why you see people go to LA and then they end up moving here. Yeah. It is. Sippy is someone who I endlessly am trying to get
girl,
her
dude, I'm trying
over here.
Same.
Yeah, because she's like, some people just come here and they feel at home. Yeah. And that's how I felt when I moved here. Right. I was like, same. It was surreal. And I still, even though everybody's like, oh, Denver's full of transplants, I still think if you're here right now, you're still ahead of the movement that's being made.
Well, and the reason, I feel like one of the reasons why Denver is like that, and because everybody's so open to like new relationships, like it's weird because like I have all my really good friends. Like I have a great friend group back in Ohio, and like that I've known since like 5th grade.
So you're from Ohio?
Yeah,
I'm from Cleveland.
I'm from Cleveland. I'm from Cleveland, but I didn't know anything before I moved out here. But the friends that I've made out here, just from like meeting people at shows, like when we were still just going to shows and I wasn't working or doing anything, like they're now like family. Like it's a different thing. Because it's like you find your people. Mm-hmm. And I still have my people back home, but it's just, we're just different lifestyle, everybody's getting, all of my friends are married, have kids. They look at me like, they're like, what you're doing is nuts and awesome, but crazy.
And it's weird because we are more than a decade apart.
Yeah.
And I deal with the same thing back in Florida. Right. Friends who are married, friends who are having kids, family knocking on my door, when's a little one coming?
Right.
You've been with the same person for 6 years and you're not married. Mm-hmm. But you know what? No one out here like is doing that. Or I just feel like with not only is this an incredibly like young city, it's an incredibly like forward thinking city. Like not just like removing yourself from like EDM and the music culture. Like as far as technology goes, as far as just like the way that people coexist with each other, really throwing like societal norms to the wayside.
Right.
People just live out here to live. And it's amazing.
The quality of life out here, it's
so
hilarious. Like, where he's like, dude, Denver's so expensive. I'm like, yeah, but look what I get.
Yeah.
Like, it's worth it.
The justification.
It's so worth it. And back to what we were saying as far as like why people are the way they are. I feel like that because there are so many transplants, and it's because this is essentially what happened to me. Like it was like a new life for me. And you're like, okay, I'm moving out of here. I'm open to new relationships, open to new experiences, and everybody's just willing. Like, there's no, I don't know, nobody's shut down. Everybody just wants to connect. Like, the connecting out here is just different.
Yes.
Than anywhere else.
I agree.
Anywhere
else.
Yeah.
And it's not like a materialistic connection like I've felt like in LA before.
No,
when you like go and you're around a lot of like different individuals, it's not, you know, I think a lot of the time in like the EDM scene, and when you work on the back end, those friendships aren't necessarily like genuine friendships. They're like, oh, let's just talk shit about the industry or talk music or talk about what everybody's doing. And it's not like that here. No. Like, I feel like when I connect with other people who are very successful and definitely could be of some sort of benefit to me in the long run, we're never talking about work. We're like talking about each other's lives and our significant others and our pets, and we're going snowboarding and hiking.
Exactly.
And there's this whole duality too of Denver. I moved out here not for the music. I moved out here for the snowboarding.
Where are you from again? That's
Florida.
why I moved out here
Tampa,
too.
Florida.
I moved out here for, oh yeah, that's right.
I moved here for the mountains because I'd come here as a kid. Boyfriend and I, first trips came out here. We just loved it. We didn't want the humidity. We were done with the water.
Oh my God,
I don't like the sand in my toes.
The humidity
like, let's go.
So huge. Like,
it's
even
so
the people don't think about that. In Cleveland, like, you have the lake right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also freezing, but it's way colder. Everybody's like, dude, you just moved from a cold place to a cold place. I'm like, that's not, first off, Denver's not, it doesn't even get cold.
No.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
Not the same thing. But like you were saying, like, I moved out for snowboarding. Like, I moved out because I love the mountains, and I had an opportunity. I used to snowboard in New York. I've been snowboarding since I was 15.
Snowboarding on ice, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Holiday Valley is a great resort in New York, and I had we've had great snow there, but then my buddy got a job out in Colorado to be a regional manager. So we took one trip. We were like, wait, it costs the exact same amount to do that versus this. And every single time I came out, I mean, the first time I came, it dumped like 30 inches the day before. I got super lucky, and I flew back the next weekend because I couldn't stand not being here. And every time, and that happened, I kept coming out for like 5 years. And every time I was like, what am I doing?
What am I doing?
Why the hell am I living in Ohio when I can live here?
And the mountain culture is a huge thing too.
Yep.
I mean, it's like, I get chills talking about it because it's literally just like such like a dope contrast of life. But coming out here, I knew like there was Red Rocks. I was like, okay, like obviously Red Rocks, like this is going to be dope. It was like shortly before I started talking to my manager, who like I didn't even know lived in Denver. So that was a great fucking coincidence that happened. And then I got out here, and it was April. So, you know, there was still some snowboarding going on, hit the mountain once or twice.
Spring skiing's
my favorite. And I slowly started to see like the city come to life of like all of this like music that I had just had no idea about. I was like, yeah, there's going to be venues. Like, obviously it's Denver. Like, it's a great market. Like, I had already done like a few tours, and I was like, well, of course, you know, this is a place you want to be, like, done vinyl, you know, but didn't really know the city.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like pop up here, pop up there, Renegade set here, Speakeasy set here. But 20 venues are also open with top tier shows. And I just, what, you know, we talked about in the beginning, I don't really think you can exist here if you don't offer something special and unique.
Right.
And it really forces everyone. I think everything from like the independent restaurants to the venues to like level up and be like its each own unique concept. Like there's not another venue like the Ogden. There's not another venue like Mission. Like it's not like you're getting these duplicates. And like the summer was just, my first summer was last summer. Wild. Like wild. I was just like, I'm in trouble.
Well, that's
I was like, I'm in trouble.
And that's one of the things like you hear from a lot of people. Like they move for the like for the snow, for the mountains, but like summer is the best part. Like summer is the best. Like there's so much to do.
Crazy.
Like, it's insane. Any like. Well, once I started meeting people that were like from here, they're like, yeah, oh, that's funny. Yeah, you did the same thing, right? Moved out to snowboard and then you realize, no, that you move here for the winter, stay for the summer. Like that's what brings you in. And I mean, obviously, if you like music, it's the best place ever because when you, especially going on tour with Preston, really opened my eyes to that. Like at these cities, it's really because there are so many venues. There are so many venues and so many great promotions and so many people that are just like music people.
Yes.
And more than anywhere else. And that's what really makes it special because it's like, a music person like that. Now it's like, okay, well, clearly like we're the same thing.
Yeah. And you, especially going to other places, and I'm sure you saw that with Preston. You've seen it on one-off dates that you've done with like other acts where, so many of these cities, they're great cities, but it's like not a focus on like music or culture. And like, that's how I felt about Tampa, where it was like, yes, it has a great venue and there's tons of cities that don't even have one good venue where you can really bring in, electronic dance music to its fullest and offer full production and offer this and offer that. But it wasn't there for the culture. It's there because there's a demand for it.
Yeah, because of ticket sales.
And because of ticket sales and there's no one else doing it. So
there's no scene.
The spot. Exactly.
There's just a venue that throws shows. There's no scene.
And it unfortunately, in my opinion, just gives like this like life to this like scene or industry or back end of whatever that exists there. And you get a lot of people who I think get caught up in these smaller cities and they're like, we're doing it. And it's so important that like a scene continues to build there. And that's why when I see like independent venues open up, it's very dope. And if they can last, I think it's always something very special.
Which is tough.
But it's just one city. And it's just like being a local artist. Like you could play in Denver for the rest of your life. Like I could have played in Orlando, Miami, Jacksonville, Tampa, and Atlanta for the rest of my life because there's enough tours and enough things that go on and enough things you do. But that's only one market.
Yeah.
But the difference between then and there and here is I just feel like, again, what you said, you have people who are really genuinely working in music.
Exactly.
It's not we're putting on all black and we're putting on the ball cap and I'm all hot and da-da-da. It's people who have dedicated years and years and years to their craft and they just get it. And I think that's what really feeds into the culture here where I just really feel like the bigger the act I meet that lives here, like the nicer they are.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I wish, and because it's funny, I went back for Thanksgiving last year. 2 years ago, I think it was. And it just so happened to line up with that there was a show, Paul, Ravenscoon. It was crazy. This lineup was insane. It's Ravenscoon, Whittler, Miso.
Holy shit.
But there's no scene in Cleveland. Like there's literally one promoter.
Was it at that?
Was it a bar? It was
place?
It was at this little bar. Like they had a venue, but then I don't know what happened, but they ended up moving it to
like
this
Sully's
little bar.
Or Scully's?
No, that's in Columbus.
That's Columbus. Okay, that's where I've played. Okay, so I've never been to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cleveland, because there's not the only. Cleveland is, I mean, it's what's funny is it's like you have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame there. Like there's great music there. Like I grew up I've always loved music. But like I grew up like I've seen Dave Matthews Band like 35 times.
Oh.
Like. Well,
I
big
saw
Dave
Dead &
guy.
Co. They brought him out with
He's
John
the man.
Mayer.
Yeah.
The man.
Yeah. I mean,
So
they're live. They're one of the best bands of all time. There's a reason they're still doing what they're doing for 30 freaking years. It's insane.
Yeah.
But there was no scene. So I didn't even know. But now I'm like, I almost want to like move back to Cleveland and be like, okay, let's I think I can
actually do
we
this.
can I know the people. I met some people that are very passionate in Cleveland that really want to grow the scene. But again, it kind of just comes down to venues, and because there's no venues, because really they have shows in Cleveland, but it's only like when, say, Sullivan King comes in, or like Jesse, like Subtronics, or whoever comes in that can sell out a big venue. There's nowhere for a culture really to grow and create the scene.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Or you have like a conglomerate that comes in and just controls the scene.
Exactly.
And that's all it is. It's anybody who has a Live Nation contract, or you're a Disco Donnie venue, or you're whatever.
Right. Yeah. But, you know, who knows? I feel like I could probably do it, but I just don't really want to move back to Cleveland.
I know. That would be difficult. I talked with Jason Leach, and I think he was the one who said this, and it was the same thing where it's like, you know, you come out here and you do what you do, but then like you bring some of it like back home to like build. And it's definitely an uphill battle.
Yeah.
I will say that.
It's tough.
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough.
I mean, it's definitely possible. I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, it is happening. I mean, like you look at Columbus. Columbus is blowing up as a market. Like, I mean, and Sully, is it Sully's? Scully? It is.
I think it. I can't remember.
Sully's.
I think it's.
That's where Preston played too. Yeah. And I went to Ohio State, so
You're right there.
It wasn't anything like what they've transformed it to now. They did not have that huge area in the back.
Really?
It was just like a little, but like I
walked into it and I was like, oh, this is dope. This is cool.
I was really impressed. It was fun. I mean, and the crowd was awesome, and they've got a bunch of great venues down there now, and it's starting to come up, and hopefully it'll start spreading up to Cleveland, because I think it's going to. I mean, everything's growing. It's just.
Well, and it's like from an outsider standpoint, I've just had so many people who aren't really embedded in the scene, which is fine. You know, they're a general consumer. They go to some festivals. They may go to a Red Rock show. And it's just kind of like, oh, like this is just going to come and go like everything else has.
Right.
But it's just built.
No.
I can't tell you. It's just starting.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard like, oh, dubstep's going to die. It's going to die. This genre is going to die. I don't think it's going to die. Like, I really don't.
No, not when you keep giving people, especially like, I mean, you're at Lost Lands this year, right? Were you
not
there?
Not this year, 2021.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah. That's where we met.
Yeah.
Because we were in the Transpo band together.
Yep.
And then you shot for Laura, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. That's how we met.
Yeah. I mean, when you have a festival like Lost Lands that is like, they've just.
I want to go back so bad, because it just looks like every year just.
It's well, it is. And what they like, it's a world-class festival. Like, it really is. Like, it's up there with all the best festivals on the planet. Yeah. Just everything is done right. Everybody that works there is amazing. They have their own inside team for everything. So everyone that you're working with, you know, it's the same people every time, and they're all amazing. They're all the best in the game, and they take care. Really, what stands out is they take care of their artists. Like, because obviously Jeff is an artist, so he knows. He knows. And I mean, when you have people like Mary running it.
I was about to say, shout out Mary.
Yeah.
And I've done a handful of shows. I have a show with him and Mary in Chicago on December 22nd at the Navy Pier. And I did Armory this year with them. And then I did Mission Ballroom.
I haven't been to Armory yet.
And
I know.
It's so good. Yeah. And it's just crazy because I don't know if it's because it's such a small team that they just run such a tight ship, because there's really no room for mistakes or like that open air gap. And then when you get like a company like an Insomniacs or whatever, where they're hiring hundreds to thousands of like third party contracted companies and security here and this here, you know, it kind of leaves room for maybe people not to like uphold their part of the bargain when it comes down to like morals and values.
Well, and just being bought in.
Yes.
Like, because there just is a job, not.
I mean, Lost Lands was stand out to me, and comparing the size of where I was then to now and like my journey, the way I was treated there was just like so top tier.
It's a different thing.
It was surreal. Yeah. Like, it was very. And then to see, you know, the back end of like whether you're talking to Mary or talking to somebody else, understanding like how much of his family comes in and helps and what they do for the neighbors in the community. Like, it's wild. And especially this year when Lost Lands was dropped between Izu, which was a fucking bomb, and then there was some other festival that was a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
And then Lost Lands happened and everyone was just like, please, Lost Lands, like live up to the name. And it just went wonderfully.
It just gets better.
It gets better and better. Yeah.
I mean, they even, I mean, since I've been going, it started like the marketplace across the street. It was first the Red Bull truck was the stage. And then they're like, okay, well, that's cool, but let's put a real stage. And then that's tight. Did it again another year. And now the stage in the, what's the stage called? I can't remember.
There were like 2 stages in the campground.
No, yeah, in the forest.
That's wild.
The Grove stage might be my favorite stage at Lost Lands. Like, it is such a vibe. I mean, it's I like it better than the forest stage just because it's like a perfect bowl, like perfect amount of trees, perfect like the lighting's great. It was just awesome. Like, it was a vibe. Like, I mean, Lost Lands is really, it's not 3 days. It's like 6 days.
No,
now.
it's like 6 days.
It was a lot.
There was like arrival at like Tuesday and then you can leave like Monday. Like, you're there for a whole week.
Yeah, Lost Lands is a marathon.
Yeah.
It was a lot. And then, I mean, we did that back-to-back Wakan. Which I wanted to do Wakan with only shooting like a couple people because that's what we did last year. We took care of the S Fam boys and they stayed with us. And then Huck and I only shot Huck wasn't there. I only shot like 7 artists or something, 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd try to do the same thing this year, but then after Lost Lands, we just had such a good time with all the homies and kind of crushed it. And we got there and it ended up being like 16 or something. And I've realized I can't do that anymore.
Well,
it's too much.
I mean, going through the process
My
that I
body
don't
can't
think
take it.
a lot of people understand is, you guys being on stage is like 5% of your actual job.
Right. Yeah, that's the fun part.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fun part.
Because then you stay up for days and days and days editing. And
yeah.
I know.
And with turnaround times having to be like, I mean, we try to get everything within 24 hours.
That's
I mean, obviously,
what I was
without, I mean, Wakan is hard because the internet is there. There's just, I mean, you're on top of a mountain. There's no service it's tough. But everywhere else, like Lost Lands, especially because they have, I mean, you go back behind stage in the trailers and stuff, you got great internet. It's fast as hell. So we want to be on point and get everything delivered, like, so they can post like that day or the day after.
And I don't think people understand that too.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Because there's like very often times where, I get it. Like, if there's an act that's making like $50,000, you guys shouldn't be getting paid $500. Like,
probably not.
Like you guys shouldn't even maybe be getting paid like $1,000. Like, you guys should be getting. I feel like it should be like a pro rate of what the DJ is getting paid. Like, if there was like some calculator that says like they're getting paid $50K, you make a percentage of that fee.
Right.
Because I've worked with, I mean, Chang, like other individuals that are very understanding of, hey, I want to grow with you. I want to build with you. You're fucking great, but I can't afford your full fee. Like, are you willing to meet in the middle? Are you willing to do this with an unspoken line in the sand that I'm going to use you again? And then it's going to develop that culture. But then it's like, once you get to a certain blowout fee, it's difficult for the work that's demanded of you all to not, and I understand, like, I get it. Like, it's hard. It's if not more demanding than what we do, because it's like we have to always keep working, and you guys with your other like endeavors obviously have to always keep working. But when you're shooting a client and an individual, like, your timeline window is like our week put into like 24 hours
and everything. And of course, it's always like advancing, like the festivals send out everything like a week or two before. And it's like, okay, you got to get all your stuff together, get your COIs together, get everything together. And a lot of times you don't know if you're getting booked until like 2 or 3 weeks before. Not even, like, sometimes it's like 2 weeks before, because again, it's like one of the last things they think about because they're worried about everything else.
Yep.
And then it means we're spending more money on travel, on making sure, because I mean, I don't go to festivals anymore unless we're going to be making money. Like, it's not worth it.
It's not worth
like,
it.
It's just not. And I mean, I love the experience. I love doing it, but I have to make money, like, especially since this is the only thing we're doing now. And I mean, that's why we're being really selective with like what we do, who we work with, because the amount of, I mean, I'm all with the amount of people that and artists that I've kind of worked with for free or helped, like I still do homie deals all the time because
100%.
so many of my friends, I believe in you. Like I believe in you. I believe in your project. I know you're going to take care of me. We are on that level of respect, and I'll take care of you now, and we'll grow together. Because that's really, I mean, you grow, I grow, we all grow.
100%.
That's the point. Like that's how I view this whole thing. But there's just a lot of, whether it's management or whoever in the music industry that, I mean, they want what's best for the artist, but they also have to take care of the management company. They have to think about all the different things. So the value doesn't really kind of come through like it should, but it kind of is what it is and at this point, but the more people talk about it, the more it's going to change. And if your work is good enough, then I mean, eventually you will get paid what you deserve.
100%. And I sit on the other side of that card where I say the same exact thing. Like, it's kind of like opportunity meets value meets experience,
Right.
where I, for the right opportunity, will 100% take a shit fee and,
Right.
and go and play to 7,000 people or go to play for
Right.
10,000 people.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, let's fucking go.
So it's worth it.
But I'm also not going to turn around and take 10 dates on a tour for $250 a date. Like, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And again,
No travel.
No travel.
No
No,
travel.
all in. All
No,
in. And
that's
all
it.
in means
You're actually paying to be there.
you are legitimately paying to be there. I will, at this point, unless it's a really great opportunity for me, I will not take something if I'm going under.
No,
I can't.
it's not
I
worth
don't
it.
want to. It's not worth it. And when you're
You know
playing,
your value.
yeah, when you're playing to a club and you're either opening or you're playing second and it's like 100 people and you've really put about $750 to $1,000 to be there, and then
Right.
you want to grab media and you want to do this and you have Ubers and you have your food, and you have to like justify like the why of why you're
Right.
being there. And if it's to grow with a certain artist or if it's to grow with a certain company, then yeah, like you eat that fee, you continue developing that relationship and you blossom and flourish. But at the end of the day, this headliner's management team is looking out for their client.
Exactly.
And the best interest of their client is to keep the support fees to a minimum.
Exactly.
So you have to see both sides of it because, I think media gets the shit out of the stick a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I get that. I
It's
get
true.
it.
It is true. But, and that's why you're not going to do this life unless it's like, or 99% of people that work in this industry. It's a passion industry. There's very, very few people that make a lot of money.
Yep.
Like very few, unless you're a top tier artist, a top tier booking agent, a top tier manager, or you're throwing shows. Like that's really where you're making money.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise that's why I've kind of done, I've done kind of everything in the scene other than like, I haven't run sound, even though I really want to, because sometimes I'm a hardcore audiophile and some of these shows drive me, I can't.
Crazy.
It drives me crazy.
I feel you. Yeah.
It drives me crazy. But I've done production. I did that. I did production at Sunset. Just because it was an opportunity for me to, I wasn't planning on going, but then,
No way. That's cool.
Yeah. Homie that runs, what is it? Algorithm?
Okay. I was wondering
they
if
do
it
the
was...
big inflatables and
Oh, nice. Okay.
do it for global and stuff.
Cool.
And they do a bunch of other things, but they were going down to Sunset. I met them and they're like, yo, we need another guy. Do you want to come? And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll go down. I had no one booked and did production, which was, we worked because it's in Florida and it was hot. And so we did it from like
That's my hometown festival.
Dude, it's an awesome festival.
It's a very fun,
I really like it.
Parking lot rave.
It's
fun.
Yeah. Well, and especially compared to like other like parking lot festivals,
it's
like
not bad.
There's trees, there's grass, there's like, it doesn't feel like
the
like
stages are cool.
Yes, yeah. They go pretty good with that. But me going to that ended up me meeting Sammy LS Dream, and they didn't have anybody for that festival. I ended up shooting for him, and which those
Love
videos
it.
and that stuff, like I was able to use that content, and I picked up like 3 or 4 other artists, and ended up being worth it. Like I didn't really I probably broke even or lost money, but like that kind of every festival almost seems like it's just like a next level goes up.
Yeah.
Really what it comes down to is festivals are the greatest networking events of all time.
I know.
Like everyone's there. Everybody's having fun. You're having a great experience with all your friends. You have time to talk, time to do business, and time to party. Like it's just, again, it doesn't make sense that we get paid money to do this.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's crazy to me.
Since Lost Lands, I've not done something like that. Like I've played a good amount of festivals between then and now, and I've never stayed for all 4 days. Like I definitely feel like there was something very special because you go to certain festivals and it's not quite that like homey feel where it's almost like a little bit of like a blockade where like you reach like,
well, they don't like have a lot of places don't have like a great area for all the artists to hang out. That's one of the things that Lost Lands does better almost than anyone. Lost Lands, I mean, Forest has a great place, but the vibe that they curate for the artists to hang out and just have the hang like is just the best. Like this year they had like 3 huge big video game stations with 70-inch TVs, so people are playing Smash and pinball machines and like so you're like you got it was ridiculous. Like you creating competition between all these friends and like creating an area to hang out and like be creative and have fun and like just continue building relationships that like really nowhere else does like they do. I mean,
I wish if every festival had the same feel as that, I would definitely go and stay and like really like experience kind of that back end feel. But it just, a lot of places haven't honed that in yet. But again, I think that's because Jeff's an artist and the team's small and it's a very tight ship ran and everyone just loves being there.
Exactly. Everybody's just having fun working.
Yeah.
Like that's it's stressful as hell, but everybody is on the same team. Like it doesn't matter. Like we haven't worked for Excision Presents or any of that, but like they're all our really good friends that we work together. Like I know like they need to get what they need to get. We work together on stage. We whatever they'd say, okay, are you good? Am I good? Like it's just, there's a
coexisting. That's very nice.
Yes. It's amazing. And a lot of places you don't see that, but I mean, Wakan's very similar too.
See, I haven't been there yet.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love Wakan.
I have a lot
it's
of
different.
people who did
Obviously,
it
it's just
week to week.
Way more work and not as tight and not as big, but it's definitely special. It's like big family vibes.
It's another one of those festivals where you see artists go and they stay all week.
Yes, exactly. That's what most of the guys that I shot for and all my friends that are artists, most of them stay the entire time because it's just, it's one of the ones that you do it. Lost Lands, Wakan, like you just do it.
Yeah.
Because the hang is just so fun.
100%. I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And then, it's like when it does come to you having to make money, we had previously spoken that LifeTap Media is really expanding and you kind of touched on a bunch of stuff that you're kind of going to endeavor wise. What does the future really look like shaping up for this company?
I mean, what we're doing, like right now, we're kind of, it's hard to even like narrow down the projects because we're trying to do more creative direction because I love that. And Huck loves doing that. But we're also trying to get in, we actually found this great space to do afters at because I love curating vibe. Like it's my favorite thing also. Other than capturing moments, is I love just curating a vibe and making sure everybody's having fun and having the best time ever. And so we found this awesome space. So we're probably going to start doing like after party. It's a small venue that my buddy that we met has. That's like, it's like 150 cap, but it'll be intimate and really just well done. Like kind of not, I want to say high end, but not high end as far as like clientele or whatever. Like you might pay a little bit more for tickets than a normal just $10 after party, but it's gonna be because it's worth it. Like we're starting that, trying to do the first one here in the next couple weeks. Ooh. If we can get everything together, but we're so busy it's just tough. But either way, that's for sure gonna be one thing that we're doing. And we're working with River Beats again. We're starting to do a lot more of that and doing these full coverage because Huck is an amazing director. And we've really gotten to the point where I'm doing a lot of the communication and like, cause I mean, I've done sales forever, networking and like, and talking is what I like to do. So I've been doing most of the reaching out and booking where I just let Huck be a beast and do what he does. He's also amazing at it too, but it's like, it's like, dude, you're too good. Just do that.
Just go.
Just do that. Just do that.
Flourish.
Yeah, just do that. But, and same with directing, cause he's an amazing director. Like he just doesn't accept like videos. Like he's done some edits that we've had to do for the full coverages where he's like, nope, I can't. I have to do it over. Like it's just, he's perfectionist when it comes to that stuff. Like he knows. We're also going to be starting a podcast too.
I know we talked about that.
We've been talking about it for a while. It's like just finding the time and energy to actually do it. Cause I mean, I love to
think
talk.
the consistency is everything. Even when I like miss a week, I'm like, oh fuck. Like, cause it's like, I do have advertisers, but it's also like, I've seen a lot of podcasts try and come into this space. Like Taboo and Willie Joy were the only two pre-COVID that I was knowledgeable about. There were a few, definitely in like the audio space and the music space at the time, but like EDM focused. And then, you know, I started mine during COVID. And then after COVID, you know, I've seen Brownies and Lemonade start up one. I've seen certain ones on Diplo's Revolution. I've seen, there's a lot of like influencer ones that have kind of parked up. I can't remember. I'm Peaking Pod or whatever. Those are all these influencer guys. And they had a bunch of influencer people on and now they're kind of diving more into artists. They're LA based. It fucking makes sense. All of that stuff. But the biggest thing that I see like lacking, and like I even get down on myself when I get busy and I can't get one out because it does take a good amount of time to edit and do clips and do everything. And it's just the consistency. Because I mean, God, I would love to grab guests that Brownies and Lemonade has. And Brownies and Lemonade is Brownies and Lemonade. But it's also like when you only have one episode every 2 months, it's hard to grow that like consistently building long-term audience. So it's the podcast thing is interesting.
It's tough.
I mean, then eventually you want to monetize it too. You know, it's like I love doing this. And again, I like to talk. My boyfriend was like, you love fucking talking. Start a goddamn podcast. And I was like, sounds great. But when you understand the work that goes into it, I mean, I reach out to 20 to 30 teams a week. Now living here, the array of guests that I can try and grab. Now there is a like happy, sad balance in there because when teams come here, if they have a Red Rocks play or if they have another play, the schedule is so tight that it's hard to get someone to come in here. And it's like, let's transparently talk. But for every 20 I reach out to, all I need is one, you know, but it's when you put together the time of reaching out, doing the correspondence, editing the actual podcast, being here, setting up, breaking down, and then the real biggest way that you can grasp an audience from like your online web footprint is the clips. The clips are everything. The clips are definitely what like Dylan and I, like now there's AI generators and there's this and that, and that's helped vastly, but it's still like you want those 10 to 15 seconds that someone's going to go, I have to listen to this full thing, you know, because that's the like cut side of the podcast is everybody's attention span is so short.
It's just
how do you grab someone?
It's hard. I mean, we've been really, that's one of the things that the other thing we kind of just need to focus on is like, I suck at social media. Not even that I suck at it. I know social media.
It's hard. It feels like a job.
Yeah. Well, it's like, and we've been like, even just my mentality, I'm always I'm trying to think of like when I post, I'm thinking of, okay, who's coming to town? Who can I help promote? Like I'm trying to help everybody else. When in reality, we probably should be focusing a little bit more on ourselves. And we would probably have and consistency, and we'd probably like the amount of, I have like probably 10 terabytes of content that I could be posting every single day. And probably grow really fast. But at this point, we haven't like to do the things that we've wanted to do and that I wanted to do. I haven't needed to do it.
But
because
I
I've
feel
built
like
it through relationships.
exactly. In your case, though, it's like you have to weigh the time that you're going to be putting into editing this content in short form for social media. So reels, horizontal, ratios or vertical ratios, phone videos, captions, the way you're going to post it, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and Facebook Reels.
Yep.
Versus your clientele list that you're homies with. It's like, what's going to actually make you more?
Exactly. I mean, and that's where it comes down to, like, at this point, what's nice is because we really have essentially like a list of artists that we've narrowed down that like their family, and these are the guys that we really want to focus on. Like, we're not reaching out as much because we know when they come to town, it's
that's
on.
it. Yeah.
You don't even have to do it.
Yeah.
So that's allowing, especially myself, to have time to do other things. And I mean, even consulting, like we're doing some consulting too, because I mean, the amount, honestly, the amount, I just love to help people. So the amount of free information, especially for like younger up, like I'm the old man, like these kids, like they're all 20 to 25 years old, most of them. And so the life experience just in general and how to deal with and navigate the music scene, the things to do to grow fast, and how to do it right, to get noticed, to meet the right people. Like, they just don't know. And I really just, I love helping people. It's like, now I'm kind of like, well, maybe I should be charging for this.
You should.
I probably should be.
You probably should.
But most of them, the thing is, it's like most of them don't have the money though. Like, most of the kids don't have money.
No,
like
they don't.
So, and I just want to help. So I'm like, well, screw it. Like,
but that's where the podcast comes in. That's what you give them. You give people things where eventually you turn around and you go to a Sony, you go to a Canon, you go to like, that's what we're kind of doing right now, where I understand where I've done it long enough where I understand where my like listening demographic is primarily focused and like what they are listening for, whether it's the lifestyle and learning about their favorite artist, or in my personal case, it's people who want to be doing what we're doing, but they don't know how, and they don't know how to get there, and they don't know, the mistakes that you need to try and avoid, and everyone's journey is going to be different. But eventually you can say, okay, I'm giving you all free information, but I have these advertisers that are advertising, which makes this all worth it to me. But it also still has to start from the love of it. We're in a passion-based, industry. It just as you said. And I think that's really hard for me sometimes, because I love money. I will say that I don't think money buys happiness, but it does make life easier. It definitely fucking helps.
Makes life a lot easier.
It makes life a lot easier. And in this industry, when you're pursuing anything, like, it's a hard pill to swallow that you're just, no matter how hard you work or how hard you try or whatever blows up on TikTok or Instagram or da-da-da, it's kind of like that success graph meme that you see. Like, it doesn't go like this. It goes like this, and then 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 it goes back up. And it's I would always say that if you put the time that most of us put into pursuing our passions, we would be millionaires running a bank, or we would be, you know.
I mean, it's not like I haven't had those thoughts of like, if I just committed this amount of time to doing like anything, like especially like sales, like any sales job that I wanted to do, I used to do, because that was like literally my life before I moved out here. I mean, I had a house, I had the almost like call it the American dream, and I was happy because I was playing golf. I'm a big hunter, so I used to be a duck hunting guide. So I duck hunt.
Do you hunt out here?
Huh? Yeah. I haven't really had. I have. I've gone goose hunting and duck hunting, but I haven't. I mean, I bow hunt too. I really want to go elk hunting.
I was about to say elk. Yeah.
I just but September during the rut is festival season. So like I can't put the time in. Luckily, I've met some people recently who have private land, and they're like, "Yo, we got you."
Oh,
so
dope.
I can't. I just miss eating wild game. It's so much better for you. It's so much healthier.
Well, even like the meat. I know we're jumping from like one to another of the spectrum, but like the amount of fish is great. I love fish. I was raised on fish. Florida, fish girl. Cool. Great. Miss Grouper, fish. Miss Mahi Mahi.
Oh my God, I love grouper.
But the amount of like protein up here and just the difference in taste of where you're getting your meat from,
You just feel better.
you feel better.
That's what before I moved out here, that's all I used to eat.
Bison, elk. I eat bison regularly. I eat elk regularly. I eat filet regularly. Like it's, and I still eat chicken. We eat whitefish, trout, stuff like that. Freshwater fish.
Yeah.
But it's a game changer.
It really
like
does.
I literally feel better.
It's
like
so
I do.
different.
I do.
It's so different. Yeah. I really need to get back after it. I mean, I'm definitely gonna go. I mean, I'm gonna go duck hunting here. I mean, season starts in
Ish.
Oh, it's the 9th. Oh, it just started.
Soon,
Yeah,
right?
It's
My dad's a big hunter.
Sweet.
He goes
Oh,
everywhere.
we'll have to go.
Yeah. I was coming down from a hike and I saw like it was right when elk season started, 2 huge antlers in the back of this guy's pickup truck. And I was like, well, it's here.
Yeah.
Like, it's here.
It's just finding the time. Music has been, I'm just obsessed.
Well, it's everything.
I'm obsessed.
You have to be obsessed.
Yeah.
It's difficult but I think there's a difference between being obsessed and not having a personal life.
Right.
And being obsessed and still building your own life detached from music.
Yeah.
Because I think during COVID, it was a huge eye-opener for me when you saw a lot of your favorite acts and people who you looked up to for a very long time go, there's no shows, there's no festivals, I have no boyfriend, I have no girlfriend, I have missed out on all of my family's events for the last decade.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like I have any real friends because all they kind of want is guest lists. Like, there's this dark side of it that, like, having people who are really supporting you and have your best interest of heart that aren't necessarily in the music industry, I think is really good and humbling sometimes.
For sure.
To realize that, like, what we do can kind of take you out of what a normal person's reality looks like.
Yeah. I mean, our reality is not normal at all. Like, it is a completely different thing. Like, our lifestyle is like, it doesn't even make sense most of the time. Like, the experiences that we get to have and do, it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
But I mean, that's where, like, with COVID, especially, like, that really grounds you.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, honestly, I had like a great COVID.
I did too.
I mean, I had an awesome COVID. All of our friends, we would just like rent a house up in the mountains and then just get 20 people and go up and like just mix and hang and have fun. And
Florida didn't really have a COVID.
Oh yeah,
so.
Yeah, you were lucky. It was crazy here.
But it was still, in the lines of understanding. During COVID is where I felt like I figured out what the fuck I wanted to do with my project.
Yeah.
I think it really took me out of, okay, you're not playing shows every weekend.
Right.
You're not doing the residency and then doing other tours on Saturdays and doing whatever. And if you get taken out of this club night where you're really forced to play dubstep, like, is this really the music that you're really enjoying making?
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people came out, it like reset kind of the tables in a lot of ways, where you saw a lot of projects like flourish during COVID. And we're still hearing a lot of music come out that was created during COVID.
The amount of that's what COVID was. I mean, if you think about it, like the giving creative people time to just sit and create is it was a blessing in disguise. Like, I mean, I was doing the same thing, like, just with everything. I was making merch. I was learning to, I mean, that's when my wife, for my birthday is December 29th. So for my birthday, my wife bought me a
Christmas baby.
I know. It sucks. It sucks.
Mine's next week. Mine's on the 15th. I feel like I have the perfect gap where I say, no, I have a month in between when I was born and when Christmas is. So yeah.
That's what Tarina, my wife, hers is on the 10th. We're actually we're going up to the mountains this weekend to celebrate.
Fun.
So yeah, we're gonna go to Leadville.
My boyfriend literally was just like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "I just want to go to the mountain for the first time." We
just got we have 10 homies just coming up. We got a house in Leadville, and we're just gonna have fun, party next.
It's a cool little area.
Oh, Leadville's like one of the last and honestly amazing mountain towns that are not. I mean, it's really building
gentrified,
up, but it's not there yet.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I mean, during COVID is that's when I learned to mix, because she bought me a mixer for my birthday because she knew I wanted it. And so I've been mixing since then.
A lot of people learned shit, like actually obtained things. I think as you get older,
obsessed.
Yeah.
I love mixing. It's like my favorite thing. I mean, that's one of the things, like once we have time, I mean, Huck and I we want to start a project.
Oh my God. That's so fun.
Yeah. And because, I mean, Huck is just learning to mix. I mean, I'm pretty good, honestly, but he's really getting into creating visuals because he was doing it for Sodown, doing it for a bunch of people. So we kind of want to do a duo where he's creating, like, mixing, DJing on stage. Yeah. I'm mixing. We're producing.
Very Black Tiger Sex Machine.
Yeah, producing music together. And so we're probably going to start doing that.
I'll tell you one thing. If you guys got your shit together and actually made music, whatever, paid somebody, whatever, and he did the visuals and you DJ'd, and then you guys also could shoot for the headliner, y'all would be brought. I see it with Slander all the time with their VJ, Redline. He plays fucking...
It was Veltrita too.
Yeah, Veltrita does the same shit. Like, there's a market for that.
Well, we know everybody.
Yeah.
Like, we know all the people. Like, I mean, and we know how to market it. Like, we do social media management. We know how to grow it. We suck at doing it ourselves. We just have to focus on ourselves.
I know. I did social media for a restaurant in the area for a little bit when I moved here. And I was just like, I know how to do social media for other people. I was like, you just have to do this for your own thing over and over and over again, and follow the trends and do the reels and do this and do that. I'm a big, I didn't know you guys did creative direction. I can't wait for the day that I can bring on a creative director, because I mean,
oh my God, I have so many ideas for you.
I'm down with like studio videos and like the TikTok era, and I get it.
Yeah.
And I understand people can be like, oh, it's cringe, it's whatever. But like, when I do a video like that, my impressions compared to any of my other creative content is triple fold.
Oh, of course.
You know, and it's like something that takes me an hour at most, but it's not what I like love. And it's not what I feel like represents like my project. Like, I rather pay someone and us do like a crazy photo shoot, and then I get to edit the photos, and then I'll make a reel out of the photos and do stuff. Like, that is just like what I wish would go off. And I think when you have like top tier, like vision, like it takes everybody a while to figure out your vision. And then I think you can reinvent your vision too.
Oh, for sure.
Know, like if you look at pop stars, like look at the Madonnas and Lady Gagas of the world. Like, there's a reason why they're still doing what they're doing.
Yep.
There's a reason why 9 out of 10 EDM projects you don't see 3 years down the road.
Right.
You know, that reinvention of like what your vision is, whether it's going with an album or a series of EPs or a tour, and then saying, okay, now we're going to totally do something fucking off the wall and different, or we're going to do a sudden death versus void, or we're going to, you know, something in that lane. When you have that type of development, and again, it's like Sudden Death and the Void Project has incredible creative direction.
Oh, yeah.
And that like commitment to it to make it happen. And you can do it on a DIY budget.
Yeah.
It's just something that you fully have to immerse yourself in and say, I don't give a fuck if nobody fucks with it. Like, I'm going to do it until people get it or it reaches the right audience.
That's right. Well, and Danny's surrounding himself by like the best people. Like, I mean, his creative director is insane. He's got so much experience.
Yep.
He's the man, like the nicest guy of all time. But I mean, and yeah, I mean, we love doing that because, I mean, helping, like we said before, helping people grow is like what I love most. Like, I love that. Like, educating people, helping them grow, showing them, just helping them basically accomplish their dreams. That's what I want to do.
Yep.
But at the same time, I'm like, I should probably start doing that for myself a little bit.
And yeah, well, it's really easy. And I do this with my students all the time. It's like, it's really easy to give people advice. It's a little bit harder to take your own advice sometimes. Like, oh, I really should be doing this on my own. Like, I'll tell my students to organize, or we'll be going through certain techniques, or, you know, and it's kind of like investing early where, yes, you're paying me for lessons, but I also will turn around and Texas Talent Fire to book you as fucking local.
Exactly.
Like, it's that early relationship where it's like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. You're helping me in a way I need to be helped. I'm helping you in a way you need to be helped.
Yep.
And that's what I think when, you know, that longevity and investment like blows the roof off, and then that act explodes. It's like, well, now me and my homies and everybody else is fucking taken care of. Ta-da.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, going back to kind of what else we're trying to do. I really want to get, like I'm obsessed with stand-up comedy and comedy.
Really?
Yeah. I love
I
stand-up.
love Joe.
I love.
Do you
stand-up.
listen to Rogan at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them. Like he's one of the greatest communicators of all time.
The Protect Our Parks series is
so
fucking
good.
hilarious.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, do you watch Kill Tony?
I don't, but
should.
I've listened to Kill Tony when he's come on, when he's had MMA fighters on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when Hulk Hogan, they did the Hogan episode and Kill Tony was like right there. I was just dying. But I think when I saw Rogan, he was opening for him.
Yeah.
Cowboy hat, Kill Tony.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. So, because Kill Tony, like they have their show on YouTube every Monday, and it's in my opinion, it's like the greatest entertainment you can watch on any screen right now.
Yep.
Like it's just their storylines. They're helping people. It's pure comedy, unfiltered. It's just pure comedy. Like
Austin is to comedy is what Denver is to music.
Yeah. I mean, I've honestly thought about like maybe. Because when it comes to music, like we're still going to keep doing what we're doing, but I really want to get into the comedy scene just because, especially with music, the pace of life and the pace of the music scene is really fast and nightlife and all of that. And I feel like the comedy scene, like, especially we talked about the hangs earlier and how much that's one of the best parts about this scene. But I think the same thing goes like with comedy. And I think the pace might be a little bit slower and the hangs will be just as good. And I had this thought the other day that when it comes to like a show, when you're controlling the audience, like you're capturing that audience, like it's amazing that you can capture an audience through just through sound, not voice or whatever. But I started thinking like, well, when it comes to comedy, all the fans have their own interpretation of your music. Like you say what it means to you and stuff like that, but it could mean something completely different to somebody else. With comedy, it's what you're saying. You're connecting with somebody based on that. Like that's it. There's no interpretation. It's like, this is what it is.
This is it.
Like, and you're getting this reaction, this laugh. Like, I feel like that probably is the best feeling of all time.
Well, and your skill set really can interchange over to there too.
Well, and that's what I think I kind of want to start doing. I've been writing since for the last 2 weeks. For 9 days.
Love it.
I've been writing. It just started. I was watching and I'm like, been saying I kind of want to start doing this. So I just started writing.
Well, I feel like it's just like in any creative endeavor, you just have to force yourself to do new things that feel uncomfortable and you're going to grow in your own lane.
Right.
Like anytime I do something that's very like non-electronic focused, like whether it's making music for somebody else or I'm doing a jingle or I'm doing something off of Fiverr or I'm doing something off of Upwork, like it really does give me a new experience to take back to what I do in my main profession.
Well, experience is everything.
It is. It's experience is everything. Dude, I could talk to you forever.
Yeah.
We have to wrap it up.
Go.
Yeah. Or we're going to have a million people standing behind us. Thank you so much for coming in today. We have to do this again. Yeah. I have to do it with Huck and then we have to do all three of us.
For sure.
And it'll be a shit show. I'm really excited for the future of the company. And I love conversations like this because I don't feel like there's a pressure on my shoulders to talk about an album or new tour or new marketing thing or this or that. Like we can just talk. This is the reason why I have this.
Well, I always support you. I'm always reposting your stuff.
It's always been great to me. So I appreciate you. Fuck yeah. Well, if you're in Denver, if you're anywhere, check out LifeTap Media and we got new things on the come up. Yeah. So excited.
A lot of new stuff coming.
Dope. Thank you so much, AJ.
Thanks for having us.
See you guys. Bye.